When you think about most industrial software, where does it come from? It's usually born in a boardroom, right? Far away from the actual noise and grit of the factory floor. But what if a system was built from the ground up by someone who actually lived and breathed the problems it was supposed to solve? Well, that's the story we're diving into today, the evolution of Clarity systems. And this, right here, this is the core idea that kicked the whole thing off. The founder, Horrie Schut, he realized that the real roadblock to making things safer and more efficient, it wasn't that people didn't want to do a good job. It was the tools, the actual systems they were forced to use every single day that were holding them back. So, who's the person behind this big idea? Let's talk about where it all started, the factory floor. Meet Horrie Schut. His story begins more than 30 years ago, not as a software developer, but as an electrician and an operator. He was right there in the thick of it, and that hands-on experience gave him this incredibly unique perspective on just how badly most industrial software was failing the very people it was meant to help. What he was seeing day in and day out was this total disconnect. You had these highly skilled, motivated workers who were constantly fighting against their own tools. It was like they were trying to navigate a maze of clunky, rigid systems that honestly created more problems than they ever solved. He just knew there had to be a better way. Okay, so he sees the problem. What does he do about it? Well, he starts building the first digital tools right there on the job. As a senior production supervisor, he basically took the lead on a huge digital transformation for 7 different departments. And the goal? It was simple, but pretty revolutionary for the time. Get rid of the mountains of paperwork and replace it with smart, practical digital solutions that actually worked. And we're not talking about just some little tweaks here. Using early tools like SharePoint, he built a whole digital ecosystem from the ground up. We're talking digital risk analyses to make things safer, intelligent shift reports that created a living history of production, and even dashboards that gave management real-time data for the very first time. He even built an objective idea box to make sure the best ideas from the floor didn't get lost. And get this, the proof that they worked? These original systems were so well designed, they're actually still being used today. So you'd think, great, system built, problem solved, right? Well, not quite. For Horrie, a system that just worked wasn't the end goal. It was more like a prototype. He had this bigger vision, and it demanded perfection. This led to a relentless, almost crazy pursuit of the perfect system. 3. Just let that sink in. He started the entire project over from scratch 3 separate times. I mean, think about that level of commitment. Most people would have stopped at good enough. But for him, every single restart was a strategic move. He just refused to compromise because he knew technology was getting better and better, and each new evolution brought him one step closer to making his ultimate vision a reality. And you can really see this evolution when you look at the tech. The first phase, with SharePoint, that was all about laying the foundation and proving that the core ideas were solid. Then came the move to low-code platforms, which was really a search for more power and flexibility. But the real game changer was the third restart, going all in on a modern cloud architecture with powerful tools like React and Supabase. That move finally unlocked the unlimited potential he needed to bring the vision to life, completely free from the old constraints. So now he's got this super powerful modern system. And the mission gets, well, it gets a lot bigger. This wasn't just about building a nice little product anymore. The goal became something truly audacious, to take on the titans of the industry. We're talking giants like SAP and Maximo, and built something that was, quite simply, better. And when you put them side by side, the difference in philosophy is just, it's night and day. On one side, you got the old guard, the legacy systems. They were born in boardrooms, designed for top-down control. They're usually complex, rigid, and honestly a pain to use. And on the other side, you have Clarity, born on the factory floor, designed to be intuitive, simple, and focused not on controlling people, but on empowering. So what does this all boil down to? It all comes together in this incredibly powerful core idea. This isn't some vision that came out of a think tank. This was a vision forged in the heat and noise of the factory, over decades of actual, hands-on practice. And the ambition now? It's to take this proven philosophy and build the new European standard for how industrial software should work. So here's the core belief, the Clarity philosophy in a nutshell. Powerful software does not need to be complicated. In fact, true power comes from embedding more than 25 years of deep, operational, I've been there, done that knowledge right into the code itself. It's a system that gets the job because it was built by people who have actually done the job. Okay, but what's the end game here? Why does all this matter? The ultimate goal is to elevate,
everything. By putting truly user-friendly software into the hands of operators, you can boost production, you can dramatically improve safety, and you can create seamless communication across the entire team. You're pushing performance to its absolute highest level. And that really leaves us with this one big question. In an industry that's been dominated for so long by these complex, top-down giants, can a system that was literally forged on the factory floor become the new standard? Well, the story of Clarity Systems seems to suggest that a revolution built from the ground up isn't just possible, it might just be inevitable.